All right. Daniel Williams, fresh off a very impressive win over Namiki Kawahara 1 week ago, I believe, unless I've lost a week completely. Was that last week?
Yeah,
It
last
was
week.
last week. Yeah,
It,
it's hard
it
to keep
feels,
track these days.
yeah, yeah, it feels like it was only a few days ago, but yeah, it's been a quick week, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, now that you've had 7 days to kind of digest everything, how are you feeling about the performance you gave us in that one?
Yeah, initially, man, I'm my own worst critic, so I was kind of pissed off how I fought. Like I felt like I had him in trouble a couple of times, and felt like I should have capitalized on certain moments. But that all comes with experience, and can only do better next time. But yeah, it's great to get the win. I was happy on my ground games improved a little bit, defending stuff, but oh man, still a lot of work to do. And that's why I was straight back in the gym on Monday. I arrived, a little bit of a hand injury, but nothing serious. And yeah, I was straight back in the gym on Monday, just trying to work on things that I could have done better in the fight.
Right. The grappling is kind of an interesting point. It's you really lit him up on the feet, but he did have some success on the mat. I mean, how do you rate your progress in the grappling side of MMA so far?
I was working on it this camp, so I was expecting to do a little bit better than I did. Even like the body triangle stuff, he got me in for a while. Like I actually drilled like how to escape that, and it was funny. I watched like um it was a Peter Yan versus um Jermaine Sterling, like he where he had like a body lock in. I was like, oh, you should have done this and that. And then I was put in that same position. I didn't do that stuff. So it's just all comes with experience, and it's something that I need to be in a little bit more and drill a little bit more. But yeah, it's obviously a little bit better, like my ground stuff, but nowhere near as where I want it to be. Just that instinct of movement, just still not there. Like using my hands, but not using my legs at the same time. So it's just something I'm really trying to work hard on now. Because
Mhm.
you look at the top five now, man, they're absolute beasts on the ground, and I exposed a lot. Me walking forward, that's my style, and that opens me up to a lot of takedowns. So, and seeing people watching that fight now, like future opponents, I'm sure that's going to happen on the regular. So, yeah, I'm just trying to stay prepared now and just keep working on my skills.
Right, right. Well, on the flip side of all that, it's clear that you have, just incredible striking, particularly in MMA. I mean, how much confidence do you have in your striking in these matchups going forward? It kind of feels like there's not many people in this division that are going to be able to handle the striking side of the game with you.
I feel quite confident, man, just with the striking. Like I know I can take a few hits. Like I work on staying tight, keeping the chin down, and yeah, I'm quite confident to stand and bang. But yeah, there's probably one guy, Jeremy Miato, who's got wicked boxing technique, and he's knocked out a few people. So someone like that, that will be a tough, still a dangerous exchanging with him. Other than that, yeah, I'm pretty confident that my level's a lot higher than some of the top five guys in the striking.
Well, that leads perfectly into my next question. I was going to ask you about the respectful call out you made of Jeremy Miato after the win. You kind of alluded to it there. It's a striker versus striker fight, but what really appeals to you about this matchup?
Just he's got killer boxing technique, and he like to stop people for, and he throws combos. So just the action, I just feel like my style, which is really Muay Thai based. He's obviously Muay Thai as well, but he's had a lot of boxing experience, and you can tell in his hands, like he throws some wicked combos. His elbows are in, so you don't know where they're getting thrown all the time. So, and then mine's like real sort of kick base movement. So I just think it'll be a cool clash of styles, and that's like one reason. Like I've seen him fight quite a bit. I obviously fought like my past opponent Dej Marong, so I watched both of those fights. So he's a name that I kind of known. The
Mhm.
other guys I didn't prior to fighting Dej Marong and all that. Haven't seen too much of their stuff, so that's why it's just the name that sticks in my head. And
Mhm.
just I was impressed by his boxing technique in his fights in MMA.
Right. He was back in action at 1X last month, the
Yep.
big blockbuster show in Singapore, and he had a win over Lito Wang. Messed up his leg. When there's injuries like that, there's always just a bit of controversy. What would have happened if he wasn't injured and so on. I mean, what do you make of that performance he had?
So exactly. So I obviously know Lito Adewang because that's another name that I just thought his style is awesome as well. Very explosive, very exciting. And then that's why it's another person I thought, oh man, me and him would be a good fight. And Jeremy Otto beat him. But yeah, from what I've seen of the fight, like it was pretty 50-50. And but I still think Jeremy Otto landed some killer like combos together. So I still think he might have. I still believe he was leading the dance a little bit. And yeah, not sure what happened with Lito with that injury. That's unfortunate, but I still felt Jeremy Ito was a little bit stronger in that match. But yeah, he's obviously injured Lito, so taking nothing away from him. And
Yeah.
I think they need to do it again for sure.
Mhm. It seems like you're a guy who pays quite a bit of attention to the other fighters in his division. You know, there's some people who just sort of ignore everyone else and focus on themselves, but it seems like you're at least aware of who's in the top five and what they're all about. So you know, if
Yeah.
Miata was, you know, unavailable due to an injury or timing or whatever, is there anybody else up there near the top of the list that you're keen on fighting next?
Like, yeah, I guess all of them, man. Like, it's all going to be a challenge now. Like, they're all amazing, talented athletes who's going to really test me. You got Serrato, yeah, uh, what's his name? Oh, I had a mental blank now. But obviously, Bokang, Jared Brooks,
Hmm.
he's the man at the moment. He's the guy that like is going to really test the division. It's going to be a hard one to sort of be in his level with his wrestling. And obviously, Gustavo beat
Right.
Serrato. He's going to be nightmare too. Just that height difference, hard to prepare that type of fight. But yeah, man, I always like looking like I used to be that fighter that goes, I don't care who I fight. I'll fight anyone. It's my style. But yeah, man, you got to respect like how talented some people are, and you got to know who you're up against and what you need to work on because yeah, they're the ones that are in front of you, and you're probably gonna have to compete them one day, and you just got to be aware of like yeah how you match up against them and what you can actually work on to beat these opponents.
Very well said. Of course, the guy that everybody's watching, everybody's researching right now is Joshua Passio, the champion. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
him?
I would love to have a fight with him. I think he has he can go the full distance, so his cardio is not going to be an issue, and he's good everywhere, ground and the top, standing up and the ground, and that's a future matchup I'd like to see as well. Yeah, I just think like I'm not too scared of him. Like I don't think he's too dangerous in certain areas. Like he's had a lot of full decision fights, but he is the man. He's been the man for how many years now, and to get a scalp like that, that just shows that all right, yeah, I'm definitely in the top five or in the world class level of strawweight because won championships, the strawweight division is the king of the world. So yeah, anyone in there is going to be a bad motherfucker.
Mhm. Well said, man. Passio, of course, long reigning champion, as he said. But Jared Brooks is suddenly the guy everybody's talking about, the guy everybody seems to be kind of afraid of, not the fighters necessarily, but you know, he's people are picking him over Passio already. What are your thoughts on the rise that he's had in one championship?
Yeah, man, impressive. Like you can't take that away from him. Like he has a very dominant style. He you know that his wrestling's above levels, how he's grown up in the US and being, a champion there in his wrestling and how many rounds he would have done over the years working on his craft. And other promotions he's fought on as well and fought at the high level. So I'm on that side. I think Jared Brooks will be the next champion, and that's why I know where he's one of the guys that's motivating me at the moment because like I see him as the next champ, and he'll probably be up there when I have my turn to be able to yeah match with him.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's got a brutal style, man. Like the Khabib Nurmagomedov, like that kind of like just like
Suffocating,
wrestle,
yeah,
dominate, just drown you.
yeah.
And I've personally like there's one guy in Australia that I fought that was a wrestling dominant base, and that was my loss, my pro loss, and it was the first time I got to fight like a dominant ground person who his coaches were NCAA wrestlers.
Right.
So I know like that feeling, but obviously not at that level where he's at. And yeah, so he's someone that's just definitely motivated me to just like keep working on my craft.
So how do you get to that point where you feel comfortable grappling with a guy like Jared Brooks? What does that take from you?
Getting one of the other top 5 guys who's good at wrestling, just seeing where I match with one of those guys. And right now it's like, yeah, it's just there's not a day goes by where I don't like think about my technique on the ground and just working on that. So every day now it's training. Whereas before, like even after the Rod Tang fight, there was just minimal ground stuff I did. Injuries got in the way. Not sure if there was going to be fights happening with COVID. So I'm pissed off at myself now, like the time I've wasted. But yeah, I'm not making that mistake again. So
Mhm.
it's just trying to be smart with everything. Like, look, I'm never going to be the level of these top guys in wrestling, but I can be smart. It is MMA. I've still got my striking. We still start on the feet. What can you draw them into? And yeah, it's just being really smart. And the coaches I have, like, we're already looking at that as well. Like, hey, so where do we see ourselves in the next 2 years, and what can we do? And we got time on our hands, so let's just be smart with this.
Very cool, man. We're about 11 minutes into this interview, and we've already name dropped, I think, six, seven, eight world class strawweights. It's a very good division. Is this potentially a good division for a Grand Prix tournament, you think? What do you think about that?
Oh, it'd be amazing! Like that'll be sick. Um, I hope so. I know us little guys don't get looked at too much. It's sometimes not the most fan favorite, but I think now, like, I think it could be starting to get looked at. We've got some characters in the division, and I would love to see that happen. I would love to push for it to happen as well.
To be completely honest, I think the strawweight division is becoming one of the most popular divisions in one, just because of the depth and, like you said, there's the characters and all these new faces. And you're right, the little guys tend to get skipped over sometimes, but I feel like there's a real kind of breakthrough happening for the strawweight division right now.
It's awesome. The little guys are coming out.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, you're not just doing MMA. You're also focused on Muay Thai, which is incredible. You said you want to fight the champion Prajanchai. How far off do you think that is at the moment?
If in a perfect world, I would love to have another guy in the top 5 for Muay Thai. Is actually have like a fight in the strawweight division, because obviously I fought Rod Tang a little bit heavier, didn't have to lose any weight. So I'd love to have a fight. But I'll take him on a day's notice. Like if they give it to me, like I would love to just jump in there. I always back myself. I'm going to be ready for it. I've been doing Muay Thai since I was a kid. I've had lots of experience, and that's where I feel most comfortable. And that's why I would love a Muay Thai fight next,
Mhm.
and especially with him in my sight, and I actually do believe I can beat him. Yeah, I would love to see that happen sooner than later.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
It's very cool, man. Very exciting to have two titles on the horizon like that. Is there one that you're prioritizing over the other, or is it just kind of about which one you can get to sooner? Like, is there one you want more than the other?
um, like I set off on this MMA journey 7 years ago now when I started, and then had all these injuries, and it never happened. A lot of people telling me should have stayed with Muay Thai, or stick to Muay Thai, or like your body's not built for it. You're too old to start it, and so it's always been a goal of mine to get an MMA title. So that would just accomplish my martial arts career. But right now, like within my reach, like within this year, next year, like the Muay Thai title is like something that like I would really love to do, because I feel like it's in within my reach, like very close, and I think it can happen. So like yeah, if I could choose the title now, it'll be the Muay Thai. But my long term goal, yeah, is the MMA title, and I know I got time. Like I mean, in the martial arts world, I guess 28 years old could still be considered old, but because I've only started the high level MMA stuff, I feel like I'm only getting started, and I feel like I do have time. And you see a lot of the champions now; they're in like their lower 30s or mid 30s even. So yeah, I got time, man, and I'm just a lot more smarter with my training than I used to be when I was a kid. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just that's my goal, make it happen.
Yeah, man, you got tons of time. I'd say 28 is very young in MMA these days. As a
Yeah,
fan, it's always very exciting when a combat sports athlete starts applying themselves to two different sports. People loved it when Stan Fairtex was doing it. It's just always exciting, but the criticism is always, by focusing on one, you kind of lose
yeah,
focus on the other. Is that something you worry about? Like, how do you find the balance as you chase the title in two sports?
yeah. At the moment, it's just trying to make my schedule that I can actually fit in these sessions throughout the day. Like, even if my next fight's Muay Thai, there's no way I'll stop the grappling. Like, I'll still do that every day. And I'll just, as long as I'm still doing majority of a Muay Thai training, if it's for a fight, I'll do that. But it is, yeah, finding that balance. And like I said, like I'm at the moment, like I've sacrificed a lot of income and like living on the bare minimums just to make sure that I can put that time in, because that's what it takes to be a champion. Like, you got to put the time in every day, and that is just my main focus. When I wake up, I'm training. I will go to work, and then I'll even squeeze in something at lunch, and then afternoon I'm doing something as well. So it's just like, yeah, making sure that a lot of hours are put in that week and not skipping that, because that's how I'll maintain both. And if I don't, then one's going to get pushed out to the side for sure.
Right, right. You're a workhorse, man. I hope you're finding some time to sleep and kick back here and there.
I yeah, look, I spent a lot of years when I stopped Muay Thai getting to MMA, like being on my ass, and even before the Rob Tank fight, that whole year I was just on my ass. So I just like, I don't want to waste this opportunity now. And I got the right people around me. Like, my workplace is at a wellness center, so I got a lot of opportunity for recovery. And I feel like there's no such thing as overtraining. It's just, there's such things under recovery. And as long as I'm getting my recovery after every session, then I'll be able to keep that high load. And like at the moment, like next week, I'm going camping for a week with my partner. So it's just, yeah, still making sure I find that balance as well with relationships, work, and actually enjoying myself rather than just being too crazy. Because that's what it's about, man. Just finding balance.
Definitely. I'm glad to hear you're getting some time out in the bush. That'll help, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah.
Looking ahead, to that moment that you win the one championship MMA title or the Muay Thai title, when you have that belt wrapped around your waist after the journey you've had, how is that moment gonna feel for you?
I have no idea, man, because I don't think I'll be able to feel it until I actually get it, because like, my mind's just like, all right, that's the goal, that's the goal. And yeah, I can just imagine it being just such a, I can breathe again. I think, yeah, that's how driven I am at the moment. And yeah, I can't actually imagine it. It would just be incredible, and it just shows that, okay, the hard work I put in all these years, ever since I was a kid, um, yeah, it's paid off. And
Hmm.
not just that too, just the people around me that fully supported me, and people that's, yeah, believe in me as well.
You mentioned you feel like you can breathe again. I guess you sort of feel like you have tunnel vision almost sometimes, just so singularly focused on this goal.
Yeah, at the moment, man. Like I said, I wasted a lot of time humming and hiring the last few years.
Mhm.
So at the moment, that's what it's like. And like, I never used to train after a fight. I would be like, all right, yeah, I'm done for a couple of months. When's the next one? Back in the Muay Thai days. And yeah, as a bit older and more experienced now. So yeah, now I'm kind of feeling that, because it's right there, and you gotta aim high, and you gotta, like, like, I do believe life's short, man. So just go for it. Hey, if it fails, it's fine. Like, I'll find some other, like, channel the
Mhm.
brain to be elsewhere, because yeah, I feel like I adapt to every situation as well. But yeah, one life, got to go for it. If it's there, just keep that tunnel vision.
That's great advice, man. You're getting me all pumped up over here. I'm gonna kill it today.
Legend.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's wrap this up, man. You got some big goals on the horizon. Two titles, two different sports. How close do you want to be to these goals by the end of the year in each sport?
By the end of the year, I'd love to have a Muay Thai world title shot, and I'd say within the next 2.5, 2 to 3 years, like a MMA gold as well.
Amazing, man. Well, that's all I got for you today. But I really appreciate the time and huge congratulations on the win over Kawahara.
Thanks a lot, man. What's your name again?
I'm Tom Taylor. I should have introduced myself at the beginning. Yeah,
Taylor. I've
yeah.
seen I've seen your stuff on YouTube and everything, man. And thank you for being so easy to talk to in the interview, because
Oh
some
man.
interview people, you like, yeah, it's hard to get stuff out, but you made it really comfortable.
Well, that's so nice to hear, man. You've given me a huge ego boost here now too. This is great. You're my new favorite guy to interview, I think.
Go, go in the day.
Yeah,
Legend.
yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate the time. Good luck with everything. Any message for your fans before I let you go?
Just thank you, and keep watching me, and I promise you I'll get better.
Awesome. Daniel Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Tom Taylor. Legend,
Take care.
man.